this quote from Cesar Chavez that I always repeat it every time I speak or wherever I go. Once social change begins, it cannot be reversed. You cannot uneducate the person who has learned to read. You cannot humiliate the person who feels pride. And you cannot oppress the people who are not afraid anymore. We are the future, and the future is ours. So for me, those are the words of him that inspire me to continue every day. There was this multi-billion-dollar gas corporation, the richest mining corporation in the world, and their proposal was to bring this LNG facility, which is liquefied natural gas facility, 14 miles off the coast of Oxnard. They proposed it to a richer community, Camarillo and Ventura, and they say no. So they added 10 more miles to the project so that it would go around the richer communities and just impact Oxnard. It was going to be floating, but the way they were going to transport it to the land, it was through pipelines. Just bringing the gas to Oxnard would cause a lot of pollution. It was going to affect the marine ecosystem, and the smoke that it was going to produce over 280 tons of pollutants annually. Oxnard is an agricultural city, and the majority of the people are monolingual Spanish speaking. This community is very vulnerable because they are working in the fields. That means that what they're doing is just working enough so that they could help survive their families. This corporation knew that these people were not going to take the day off to go and protest. They knew that they were not educated, most of them. They knew that it was an easy target. We didn't know how much we could do, The idea was to delay the project until we find out more resources, and at one point it was like, oh, we don't have a chance, because I come from a very conservative family, which girls don't have a lot of power. You cannot speak up. You cannot go around and tell how you feel about things. And so first we started giving talks. We would go to neighborhoods and would tell them, could you please gather your neighbors? We would pass flyers, we would have education meetings. When I educated myself and realized, why is it happening in my community? Why cannot we deserve having a voice and an opinion about what happens behind our yards? People tell you, you can't do it. You're poor, you're too short, you're too this and you're too that. And so one of the things that I was learning was to believe in myself, to learn that I could do something, that I had a voice. We needed to work together because we knew that this corporation had a lot of money, that they could actually buy a lot of voices. And we knew that our best bet was to have united the whole community, from the poorest to the richest, from all ages and languages or ethnicities. The corporation had an office in downtown Oxnard, and so we would go and protest outside the building. One of the most important things is that the protest was not just people yelling for no reason. They knew what was the final result that they wanted, and the final result was to say to this corporation to don't come and experiment on us. Don't put our families, our lives on lower than the money. That day, they asked me to represent the youth and to give my testimony. It was this small little Mexican girl, barely speaking English. I could barely put a sentence together. I was in front of this microphone and I just started speaking from my heart. I didn't have any title, any statistics or anything. And after I spoke, the whole room went so wild. It was incredible. Now my voice was heard. It was worth it, all the effort.
I wanted to be the voice for those who thought they did not have one. I wanted to be the hope for those who believed that there was no way we could stop BHP Billington. I wanted to be the inspiration for those who believe that a person can make a difference.
For me, that was really important to see there was a development in these communities. We wanted them to be educated, to be empowered, to know that after this, they were ready to battle whatever other struggle they were gonna face. Since we won, I continue to share the story of success. And I always, when I talk about practices, that when we think of power, we think of powerful people that step on top of small people, you know? But in reality, in Spanish, poder, when you translate it, poder, the actual meaning is la habilidad de actuar, the ability to act. And when you think, oh, then I have the power. I have the power, tengo el poder de actuar. I have the power to act.